The H1B visa program is a scam. It was originally sold to Americans as the program that's gonna bring in the geniuses and the scientists. And I guess those scientists haven't really been up to spec lately.
Yeah, I don't know how to read a map, I don't know how to read my phone, so I have to stop and ask, and then block the highway, 2 trucks, this one, another one, and these guys, yeah.
It turned into the biggest corporate clown fiestas the modern history has ever seen. It's turned into a full-blown circus. Honking noses, big tent, the full 9 yards. The billion-dollar corporations have been just slashing labor costs and just bringing in the top talent. It's kind of impressive how they managed to fool everybody into this shit. This September, the government decided to implement a reform of that visa program, and it's gonna be charging $100,000 per visa per year to apply. That is 6 figures, and that's not even fast-tracking it. Oh, what's that? That's more than the budget for the quarter? Well, you should have thought about that before hiring foreigners over Americans. That $100 grand is going to ensure that they're actually bringing in people that are not going to cut out the rates, and they are going to be the top talent.
One of the most abused visa systems in our current immigration system has been the H1B non-immigrant visa program. This is supposed to allow highly skilled laborers who work in fields that Americans don't work in to come into the United States of America. What this proclamation will do is raise the fee that companies pay to sponsor H1B applicants to $100,000. This will ensure that the people they're bringing in are actually very highly skilled and that they're not replaceable by American workers. So it'll protect American workers, but ensure that companies have a pathway to hire truly extraordinary people and bring them to the United States to work.
We need workers. We need workers. We need great workers. And this pretty much ensures that that's what's going to happen. I think, Sean, do you agree with that?
Well, they're $100,000 per year. So the whole idea is no more will these big tech companies or other big companies train foreign workers. They have to pay the government $100,000, then they have to pay the employee. So it's just not economic. If you're going to train somebody, you're going to train one of the recent graduates from one of the great universities across our land. Train Americans, stop bringing in people to take our jobs. That's the policy here, $100,000 a year for H1B visas, and all of the big companies are on board.
These loopholes are destroying our economy and ruining the job sector. For instance, tech companies. Have you tried calling customer support at any of the big companies lately? I guarantee you the person you're talking to is not American. And I can also guarantee you that he's not getting paid what he's supposed to be getting paid. Or, if an American had that job, he'd probably be getting paid a lot more. So on average, those HB1 visas are earning 60% less than what an American would take. And they can tolerate a lot more than what an American can tolerate. Let's say vacations or time off or benefits or all that. And also trucking companies are like, hey, we can do that too. Why not just give them an 80,000 pound vehicle and just send them down the road? And what did that do to trucking? Flip-flops, trash everywhere, accidents everywhere, low rates. These professional drivers are professional at crashing. As we might have seen for the last couple of months, those companies offer very low wages and then just dangle that little, residency over their head. These are not top talents. For years, this loophole could have been seen from a telescope made out of dirty Gatorade bottles. Also, Canada looked at this situation and said, oh wait, we can do that too. That's why a very large section of the trucking industry is just dominated by Punjabis, which I don't blame them for that. However, highways have become a disaster lately, because most of these drivers are just flat out buying their CDL. No training, no experience, nothing, just put them in a truck, send them down the road. It's genuinely dystopian the moment you figure out how all that works. An American driver would not be able to take home $500 to $600 a week, let alone the false logs and abuse. However, an H1B visa worker is going to do that. The H1B program was created with good intentions. However, that did not work out. The situations where companies would need such a visa is pretty rare. It has become a cheat code to make record profits. And the government's response after decades of this abuse is a $100,000 fee. And it's honestly a great start, but not the solution. There are still thousands of these visas out there. Let's say I decided to work on a cruise line. Am I really going to accept $500 a month? No. However, that's a lot of money overseas. These workers are trapped working with these corporations with the visas dangling over their head. And not to mention, that's not contributing anything to our economy. They are sending that money straight back home and not cycling it through the economy like an American worker would. That's also creating a housing shortage. Not to mention how it's also changing our culture. Assimilation is a pretty big problem here. The solution to this would be creating a wage protection, meaning everybody gets paid equally. Whether you hire an H1B or an American, you pay them both the same. And it should be that the American is prioritized over the foreigner. We do not need foreign labor. There are plenty of people graduating college and that can't find jobs because these guys will take it for a lot less. However, it is much cheaper for companies to hire H1B visas. Why would they pay you a decent wage when for the price of a used Ford Fiesta they can point at a stack of H1B visas and tell you to get out of here? Not to mention put up with your benefits, your vacations, and so on. This is pure economic terrorism. And I feel like the countries that are allowing that flood to come in should be sanctioned. The American worker is absolutely getting demolished. Try doing DoorDash at a major city and see how much money you'll make. I can guarantee you're going to be losing money. But like I said, those are not top talents, they're just cheap. They're top at being cheap. It's not just harming our economy, it's harming our safety. And I feel like the solution should be just to flat out stop it completely for at least 10 years. What do you think the solution should be? Let me know down in the comments, make sure to like and subscribe.